Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Different Breed, aka Car Keeper, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to stop people from opening up this garage, except for myself. And if you haven't been here before, you will find content just like this and other stuff that will help you get further in games and just play more smartly. So if that sounds interesting to you, consider subscribing so you won't miss out on any more content. Now let's show you how to stop people like me from doing things like this. For our first couple of cams, or a few cams, what you want to do is you want to open up the window and then you just hit it out. So you're lined up by barricading the window. Now what we can do is we can go up here and we're going to line our cursor up. You can see this blue tarp floating in the wind. We're going to line our cursor up in the middle of the bottom line here and then right to the left. Let go and it's going to sail on down and we're going to land right on this little column, right on the railing here, so it can kind of like tuck away in this corner and we'll be able to see the garage entirely. We can see people coming from gas line over here. A little bit over here we'll be able to see people's heads, but the main focus is the garage. So if I'm walking over a sledge, we can see the top of his head over here, and even if I look to the side as far away as I can, we can see all the way to the top of his head. If he obviously goes over towards the railing more, we'll be able to see him all the way to back here. Now look at where the sledge is right now, and we can still see him on the cam. You can't even like see the cam at all. There it is right there, tucked away when he's not looking. They're going to be more focused on the window above, so that's good. One thing is though, it is a little bit obvious, as you can see as I'm walking through here. If I am expecting a cam, I might be looking this way and I will be able to see it. So it might be a good idea to start the round off by not looking at that camera. And of course, if they're getting spotted or anything like that and they turn around, they're going to be able to see the camera just hanging out right there. If you're on it, it's going to be super noticeable. There's not really much that you can do to hide that camera. So for our second cam, we can see that if we're not lined up, this is already opened up, we just have to start barricading. It'll put us in the position just to get it remarked. Now for another one, we could do the same, pretty much the same spot with this first big opening here, put it right in the middle and to the left of the top of that thing, and then it'll soar and fall down pretty much at exactly the same spot that it was before, just a little bit lower. So if you want to kind of hide the camera a little bit more for the people who are coming over from the south, and possibly, I mean, some people might be looking on the ground for cameras in that corner, so that might kind of take away from hiding it a bit. I don't know. But if we look over, we can still see that camera clear as day. You know, if we're looking for a camera, it's just going to be there. There's no really hiding it in this corner. But if we're coming from this direction, you can still see it, right? But maybe it won't be as noticeable as above. I'm not 100% sure actually. If we're looking at this, we can see the full, almost the full ring. I feel like we can see more of the ring this way. But either way, if you're having issues with cams right above here, then you can go ahead and put them down here and we can see their foot. I feel like this has even less visibility than the one above it. So just keep that in mind. Let's move on to the next. For our next cam, we're still throwing out the same window, so we're going to line ourselves up, and then right at the top of this, probably an HVAC unit up here, right in the corner where the dark meets the light here, you can go ahead and put your icon right above that and let go. It'll soar and it'll land right on top of that lamppost over there, and we'll be able to see most of the garage. We won't be able to see all the way to the south, which is the main part that people open up first, at least from my experiences. But we'll be able to see all the gas pipe line over here, or the gas line, or whatever you want to call it. We'll be able to see the front too, so this will have even a good cam for the front view. If you want to see people, you know, if you have the piano bomb sites or anything like that, we can just be able to see the front, or if you just want to spawn peek from the front or something like that, and people are, you know, whatever. Anyway, if we go over to the sledge and we look at him, we can see that it is obviously clear out in the day, but people might not be looking really that far back. So if people are getting spotted or looking at cams, they're usually looking like down here, they're looking over here, they're trying to find the cam. They might not even see it up there within the sky and all that stuff. So it might actually be a good viable cam if you keep getting your cams shot out in this vicinity area over here, or if you just throw them on the ground and they keep getting shot out. that might be good. Now, if we go over to the wall, like I said, we won't be able to see thermite planning his charges over to the south. But if we look, so here's the first panel. If we look at the second panel, we can see his body, right? So this is where thermite would basically be lining up to set up his stuff. So if he's any more over than that first panel, we'll be able to see him. So we can call out the middle or the north. If he's not in the middle or the north, then we can just say, we can confidently say he's at the south and he's getting either ready to plant or he's planting to the south. So we can tell our bandit, hey, put down that stuff. Kaid, hey, throw over your electro claw, because he is trying to get this over here far south or the middle or the north. Oh yeah, and of course these ones are retrievable if you're so inclined to run out and grab that, but this one will not be. You won't be able to grab this one at all. For our next cam, we're going to be going to the garage itself. Now, this will be easier with a shotgun, but as Valkyrie, we can make some holes ourselves. You don't need anybody's help. Just take 4 bullets here, 4 bullets there. And then what we're going to want to do is this car right here. We're going to get some cams in this car. Shoot out the first window because the cameras will not do it. You don't want to shoot out both because then it'll be more obvious. So just shoot out that first window right there. We can lay down, and actually before we lay down, we'll line it up by placing a reinforcement. We'll lay down here, and then we're gonna aim at this dark line on the tarp, right in the corner of the building and in the middle of that dark line there. Let it go, and it'll land right in there, right on the back seat of that couch. We won't be able to see everything over here, but we'll be able to see most things. So then after the round starts and all that, you throw it out, then you can go ahead and reinforce. So this one is mainly for the garage itself. So we can see over to the north a little bit, you know, but if people are hiding in that corner, we won't be able to see them. I guess we can see a little bit on the south corner here, but other than that, this is mainly to stop that thermite and Hibana from opening the garage, possibly even the Maverick. But if we're looking over here, we can see the sledge in the south corner standing up, but if he's like all the way over here, we can't see him. If he's more up, then yeah, sure. But if he's crouching, we can't see him at all. We can see his hammer just because he's sledge. But if he was anybody else, we wouldn't be able to see him. Which brings me to my point of if thermite is planting while crouching, we won't be able to see him. Although we might be able to see his charges. I probably should have played thermite. Oh well, it's too late now. If thermite or Maverick is crouching, we won't be able to see him at all. If they're standing, we will be able to see their heads and from this position anywhere on here, but if they're crouching, we can't see them anywhere. Which brings me to my second camera in this location. And for my second camera in this location over here, what we're going to do is we're going to line ourselves back up with this, open this up a little bit more because we're doing it from crouch instead of laying height now. And what we're going to do is we're going to line up with right underneath this blue tarp, this first line right here. We want the top of our cursor to be right at the top of that thing there, and then the arc is going to bring it down and right underneath, so you can see that we can see half of it right there. And with that, if I bring the sledge on over, we still won't be able to see him crouching. So if we put that cam up just a little bit more, so if we have it a bit higher, we can see that he's actually crouching here, and we can actually see him crouch everywhere here, so we know exactly where this thermite or Maverick or Hibana is going to be planting on this wall. And if we look at it, we can see half of the circle, well, 3/4 of the circle now. And I mean, yeah, it's noticeable, it's obvious, but there's not really many spots that you can really hide a Valkyrie camera here. And looking through the car window here, we can see the huge blue light sticking through it, but if we're close to it, we can't see it at all. So if people are hiding behind this car here and they're doing one of these kinds of things, then they might not even see it. Although if you shoot out the windows here, we'll still be able to see it. It actually is a little bit more noticeable because it is flashing now instead of just a blue light. But it might not be super noticeable when it's actually out and about like this if the windows are open. So I'll leave it up to you to decide whether you want to open up all the windows or you just want to open up the one window to get it in there. But this is definitely a good cam for stopping that thermite in the garage. from opening the garage. I just want to take out this time to say that if you are enjoying this video, then please hit that like button. And if this is really helping you out, then consider subscribing while you're there, so you won't miss out on any other content like this. Now let's go back and check out some more cam spots. This next cam is on definitely a higher difficulty level to get. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up yellow doorway right here. And then we're gonna come out over here, go into this corner, shove ourselves into this corner, and then we're gonna look at this tree. Now what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna get this about roughly over here. The idea is that we're gonna get this right on this trunk of this tree here. And we'll be able to see the garage from there. So right where this dark leaves over here meets this light leaves over here, we can kind of toss it like in the middle-ish. I guess there's a gap right here, and then we're just gonna go ahead and toss it. It'll land on the... We're gonna toss it over here, and it'll land on the trunk of the tree right there. And then we'll be able to see the garage there. We'll be able to see all the way to the south. We'll be able to see some of this north gas over here, and all, obviously, both the stairs, both of the corners. One of the problems with this, if we don't do it quick enough, will be detected, so people will know that we're throwing out cameras. Don't really want that to happen, but oh well, you know, it's not too much you can do about that if you can't be fast enough, but you can practice this and be fast enough. So we can see the thermite planting on the first panel over here. We can see him planting on the middle panel over here. This is like the location that we're planting on. If we go, this is going to be a similar situation to the camera that we had on the light post over here, where we couldn't see all the way to the south. This one we can't see all the way to the north. So we can assume that if we see him go over there, then he's going to be on the north side of the wall if we can't see him. Otherwise, he's going to be planting in the middle, or he's going to be planting on the south. So we have enough coverage to kind of guesstimate where and when he will be planting. And for visibility, yeah, it's visible. I mean, like I said, this is a really difficult spot to try and hide cams onto. So the worst part about this is that the default camera's right here. So if you're chilling on this and then the people come over and shoot out the default camera, yeah, that's gonna get shot out. But if you're not sitting on this camera, and say we're like inside, tucked away, just hanging out for a bit, people shoot out this default camera here, they might not even notice this. As you can see, it's a little dark and it kind of blends in with the trunk of the tree. So if they're quick, they shoot this out and they move on, they might not even notice this camera here. So again, I wouldn't go on this camera in the beginning of the round. I would wait a little bit until everyone gets settled in over here and then hop on that camera and try and help your bandit or your Kaid to stop that thermite from getting in. Or the other HUD breachers. Oh, and of course you can't retrieve this camera, but the camera's down there in the car you can retrieve. And then for another one coming out of yellow stairs, what we're gonna do is we're gonna line ourselves up with the wall right here, and we're just gonna W, right? Or, you know, be a little bit faster, Shift W. Just go straight to this wall here. Once you hit this wall is when you are free to go ahead and throw it. And what we're looking for is, you can see this dark one sticking out here. We're gonna not go to that one. It's this one and this one here, kind of like right in the middle of those two, right in line with the dark one right there, and let it go. It'll soar on through, and then it's gonna land on the light post right over here. So if we back up, when we get inside and we look at this camera, we can see most of the garage again. So it's a little bit better than that palm tree. However, it's probably no more noticeable. If we move over with the sledge and we look at it over here, then it's actually a little bit less noticeable than the tree, I would say, because you have that sky in the background, the light sky, and that kind of hides the camera light itself. Let's see if we move over to the darkness over here. We can see it better with this trunk of the trees here. But once you go into the sky, it kind of like blends in with the sky. So this one might be better than doing the tree trunk over here. And if we go over here as the thermite and we start planting, we can see all the way to the north. We can see him all the way to the south. This has 100% coverage of the garage. So we'll know exactly where he's planting, where Maverick is, where Hibana is, whether they're crouched, laying down, anything. That's one thing. We won't be able to see Maverick if he's laying down with some of these cameras, but we have full coverage of the garage with this camera. I think this is my next favorite camera, to be honest. And with this camera itself, we can see all the way over here, all the way northeast, anything that's happening in the yellow window, anything that's happening in the west windows, anything over to the south over here in the fountain area, anything over here to the gas station area. We can see a whole bunch of stuff with this camera. The only thing we can't really see is all the way in the back there. However, if we move our sledge, let's see how much coverage that we actually have, because it looks like we have a whole bunch of coverage. So here's the back corner right here. We can see the sledge. If he moves up, he can hide behind. If he's like chilling over here way in the back trying to get these windows, then we can't really see him. We can see his feet as soon as he comes onto the pavement here a little bit. Then we can see him a whole bunch, or a little bit, not a whole bunch. But we can see his legs, we can see him here, but if he backs up, then we're kind of screwed. So we don't have huge coverage for back behind here to the west. However, I don't see that as a huge difficulty, because I don't see many people going that way and just staying on these windows and all that fun stuff. And we also have coverage behind the vehicle. This is definitely my next favorite camera to do on this thing right here. And we got the both of the corners. This has a lot of coverage, and it's pretty well hidden. And for our last and final cam over here, if you don't care about seeing the front of the garage and have full garage coverage for the thermite, we can open up this window on yellow here. And this isn't really a specific thing. What we're going to try and do is going to try and get it on this little V here of this trunk, the tree. I can't really tell any specifics because, well, I just opened the window and stepped to the side, so sorry that it's not specific, but with this one, see, this one is actually a bad camera. I can't move it to the right anymore, but it does have good coverage of the northeast. We can kind of see the gas pipes, but again, because I can't move it over, I don't like it. So we're gonna have to try this again. I don't know where it is. Up here? What you want to do is you want to try and get it more to the right than to the left of the trunks here. So you can actually move it over all the way over here, and that's a better coverage of what we actually care about. This is a good west windows north side cam, so we can get the yellow window and the bathroom windows as well. This is a good cam for that. And we can see the car area, so if we're trying to like C4 or just trying to peek from the windows to get the car, we can do that. We can see the fountains over here, the gas pipes and everything like that. If we look at it with the sledge, they were like in cars and we're getting spotted. And we're like, where am I getting spotted from? It's right there. We can see it because it is in the trees of the dark cameras. So it is not completely hidden. We'll be able to see it from basically like, I don't know, anywhere we are. It's just because of the dark background aspect of it. It's just going to be difficult to hide itself. But we can see if he's like kind of in the back. If we're really looking for details, we can see him moving within the trees themselves. So you can see as he steps in here, we can kind of see his legs, but you know, it's not really hugely reliable there. This is definitely more of a, I'm rappelling on the west windows or rappelling on the yellow stairs area, or specifically for hiding behind the car itself. And if you don't spot them, they probably won't look for it, because who's looking up there for a camera if you're not getting spotted? That's just plain silly. So what other spots do you want to see? What is something else that you're trying to defend? Let me know in the comments below or over on my Discord. If you want to show off your spots so that we can have an amazing collection of spots all in one place, then join the Discord and post it up in the Gadget Spots channel. And if I use your spot in a video, I will definitely give you credit. There is no way that I can find all the best spots on my own. But if you want to see more of my cam videos, then check out the playlist that's on your screen right now, or just something else that's on your screen. And that's it. I hope this helped, and until next time, stay different.